All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, guys. Eden Yogesh, Brett. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Seiko, Stelios, Renee. How are we doing, guys? How's it going, Max? Mr. Ian. Good morning, Stud. Morning, Sebastian. Everybody doing all right? Mr. Lovelock. Thank y'all for tuning in. Morning, Eduardo. Yeah, other than the chart not looking the best. Yeah, I got you. Franklin, Nick, David. What's up, guys? What's up? Let's see what we got cooking here. What an Asia session overnight. Crazy action going into Asia. We ran up into previous weekly high. ES took previous weekly high as well. YM failed to take previous weekly high. We still just kind of missed that daily SIBI. Kicking around up here. Right. As did ES, of course. Now, the result after taking that previous weekly high, forming that SMT with YM, is we did form this market structure shift here and change in the state of delivery, confirming this breaker. Actually, I'm going to do that in orange for now. Confirming this breaker here. Right? Colors all over the place. So I can't ignore it, right? We do have the SMT at the previous weekly high with this reaction from that. And we have currently previous daily low SMT with ES, and that ES swept that previous daily low. While NQ and YM have failed to do so. So what we can make of this, right, is we have a little bit of conflicting information on both sides. We have the bullishness of this chart currently, right? And we have supporting information of the SMT at the previous daily low. However, we did take previous weekly high, formed SMT there, and we have a market structure shift. So it's early days for shorts. I do like the projections of this hourly breaker down to this Friday devil's mark. That's probably pissing everyone off. And -4 of this, which is lining up with this Friday low down here. Now, I think it's best for me to just sit and wait and see what's going on. There are potential opportunities that we could see for both sides. So we're going to watch and wait and see what the chart tells us. There's no immediate need to do anything right now. It's just a matter of kind of sitting and waiting. As Lovelock alluded to, we do have potentially Trump. We have extended talks between U.S. and China today in London. So keep on the lookout for that. They should have started already. I believe it was starting at 1 p.m. Local London time. So that would be happening. Yeah, that would have happened a couple hours ago already, or started. Now, we also have CPI tomorrow too. So that could also bring a little bit of unfavorability. It's not you know, a for sure thing, day before high impact news like your CPIs, your FOMCs, and your NFPs, they don't necessarily mean that it's going to be ugly, but it's definitely a contributing factor if the chart is ugly. Manipulation down out of the open, digging deeper into the 15-minute breaker and get a PD while we take out 7 long. I could see both sides. I could see previous hourly high S&T with YM kicking around here, and then you could PD short that, right, down into lows here. But I would definitely like to see if we could do something. How's the 4 hour? So this 4 hour is closing. So we'd have to continue to close bullish on this 4 hour for 10 a.m. to frame longs. I don't like trading into highs that have swept time-based liquidity like this. It makes it tough. So I would probably, if I were to long, I don't know if I'd take it to this high because it's a high that has SMT and swept previous liquidity already. So if anything, it would just be like to fill this gap and fill projections. As for shorts though, we've got some previous hourly high SMT with YM, which is interesting, trading back up into this breaker. Let's see the results. It's a little too rich for my blood to just take that SMT short. But we'll see. I know some might be interested in it. This is the only SMT that we have, and it's probably the only potential SMT that we have to frame a short. I wish NQ was the one that took the high. It would make it a lot easier because this is kind of ugly. Can't really, there's a breaker to enter off of, right? You have this guy. But and then where's your 9 a.m. open? Let me find that guy. Yes, we are in premium of the range, Renee. We are struggling to form this 5-minute breaker. That's kind of what I would have wanted to see in order for me to get short with this SMT that we formed with YM. I would have wanted to see the 5-minute breaker already form and then trade back into it. These failures here are a little bit unappealing for me. So what I might wait for is if this 5-minute breaker forms, I'd look for a retracement into it and then go short from there. Could definitely not give it though. It could just melt from here and then we have to sit and wait and watch for something else, which is completely fine. Because we do have some potential opportunity for later on in the day, right? We have, if we can close below this 15-minute low here, forming this 15 and 30-minute breaker, we could potentially see retracements into that for expansion lower later on in the day. Oops, I wanted to keep those projections. The projections aren't super nice on it. They do kind of match you up with some of these lows. Depends on the range you are using and the time frame you are trading. Well, yeah, but you should only be using high time frame. You shouldn't care so much about where we are within a 1-minute range, right? You want to be looking at the most recent range, right? The most obvious range, which is this. And now we are back in a premium of it. Yeah, unless you, yeah, which I got no interest in doing. Trading the seconds chart. I get enough opportunities. I don't need to. Okay. We got some wild volatility going on here. Did I take anything yesterday? Yeah, I took longs yesterday. I longed. I longed 937. Yeah, Eden, I took this long yesterday and then took it to -2. Let's see what we got cooking here. Ooh. This is looking nice. May not get a retracement up into this breaker. On the 1 minute, I know it's not necessarily high alpha signal, but if you were looking long to get in, or sorry, if you were looking to get in on that 5 minute breaker when you drop to 1 minute, that IFG aligns with the 9 a.m. open. I think, yeah. I mean, the 9 a.m. open, it looks like it's already been repriced to. In that we opened, now we've closed below it, and we're using it as resistance. It doesn't really serve much purpose for me. Like, it's just, I'm just entering off a 5 minute breaker. We had the SMT. We had this SMT with YM. 5 minute breaker as a result. I'd like to see us get up and down. Let me actually. Ooh, that is. Just hang on a second. It's a lot of speed right up into that area. Just having a little bit of wherewithal here. The only reason why is because like we really just ripped right up into there, so it gives me a little bit of pause. ES is taking that high now. I'm gonna short it. Not the most like what's the word to use here? It's a little bit aggressive. It's definitely aggressive. So I waited for ES to take that high. That gave it a lot more probability, gave me a little bit more gumption to push the button. Two off coming. Two off there. My shit is lagging. We got some fuckery going on here for sure. And I don't like it. ES is really having a hard time dropping. We got some consecutive candle SMT on this 15-minute between 9:15 and 9:30. I have 5 buy stops because I'm in short 5 contracts. No, I haven't taken anything off yet. I said I'd put a limit there. Lock in, Renee. Thanks for looking up. I'd like to see us get below this 9:30 open and sustain lower. None of these wicks. No, sir. I was not unaware. I am dialed in. I am most definitely not always aware. I am sometimes an absolute bot. Okay, let me just mark this up because I'm gonna look at it based off of I'm gonna partial based on what the NQ chart does. Because sometimes NQ will hit -2, MNQ will not, and I want a partial based off of NQ analysis. You riding with me, Brett? You flat? Yeah, it's an aggressive entry, I will say. You are watching the same chart? I know this. What do you? This is the NQ. This is the micro. You guys are tripping me up. You guys are thinking that I'm missing something. I have both up right now because we're nearing -2, and I'd like to watch the mini get there, and then I can partial. No, I figured. I want to see ES start to do something. You're still upholding that 15-minute SMT there. The devil's mark on 9:30 open on ES. No reason to move my stop. If it wants to come and rip me out, then it's more than okay. It's looking like that might be the case too. But we're gonna let it do its thing. It's really liking this 5 minute breaker. Just repricing it back to it consistently. The longer we kind of hang out around here, though, the less I like the trade. Doesn't mean I'm gonna move out of it. It's just makes me wonder what it's waiting for. Could very well just be 9:30 noise, but I could also be waiting to get schmacked, which is also very possible. We have a couple forms of SMT here to go against. There's SIBI, there's BISI SMT on the 15 minute, and we have consecutive candles. So we'll take it on the chin. Boo. Of course it has to rip like that too, through it. Okay. L on that guy. There's the executions. You can see him. 874. Stop out. It fucking wicked me out by 7 handles. That's so gross. That's so gross. Now YM is maintaining below. Funny. I'm gonna sit on the side here. This is not fruitful for me. Can definitely see why it ran against me, right? We have this 15-minute BISI here. Tagging into that. ES failing to tag into that 15-minute BISI. We also have consecutive candle SMT. So you have 1 and 2 types of SMT. And then you have a breaker formation here. Not something I'm longing because like I said, I don't want to long into a high that was previously swept, that it was responsible for sweeping a time-based liquidity high. Definitely, as I said, an aggressive entry, but I liked it nonetheless. We just didn't meet projections of that 5-minute breaker, but we did of the 1-minute one and of this one here. So it's just unlucky. Now I'm going to sit back and wait. I'm still kind of choked at how it slipped me 7 points. Let's get back in alignment here, though. Wait, what was that line that I drew? That's that hourly breaker that I marked out. Might want to go for this. Morning, Sergio. Only see that London swept Asia low. Yeah, we took previous weekly high, and now we swept Asia low here. Yeah, we were very much two-sided here in that we have this SMT at previous daily low, and we also have SMT at previous weekly high, forming breakers on both sides. No, I'm not seeing nothing. I'm not willing to long it, as I said. But I do think it's just it could just go higher from here. Yeah, tricky morning. Gave me a good opportunity. Don't have a shred of SMT anymore to confirm any sort of shorts. I'm gonna get rid of that 9 AM opening price and that. That will be the one that sends it lower, though. Funny enough. Yeah. Yeah, we've been trading this for value gap for a minute. Yeah. That this 15-minute candle is exactly what we think it is. A bunch of fucking bullshit. Sometimes it'll do that though. That's just the market telling me something, right? The only thing that the market's telling me right now is to just sit, right? Yeah, erase all the S&T at the highs and dump. That's exactly what it's telling me, just to get rid of it. To just, sorry, not get rid of it. Avoid the chart right now. This could bounce higher from here though, for sure. Right off the 930 open. Breaker, OB. I'd like to see where these projections line up. Line up with those highs. 5-minute breaker. Yeah, this could go. I'm not one to get out of a trade and then get right back into one. And as I said, I don't have a whole lot of faith in trading higher right here. We're in such a premium. But that's the likely scenario for me. That's where I think price is going. Good morning, good morning. Well, you, sir, by joining in late, saved yourself potential L if you took the same trade as me. Just the one loss on the day, boys and girls. Just the one. Why I'm falling out of bed here. Man, I'm glad that I'm not touching this now. Came in late. Well, good. Yeah, I went short. So real quick, we had this 5-minute breaker form. 9:30 opened up. NQ traded back up into that breaker, formed SMT with YM and ES at this high. Once I saw ES take that high and form the SMT, I went short, and it came ever so close to our area where we wanted to take profit. 7 handles away, and then ripped against us. Good setup nonetheless. Aggressive entry. All in all, happy with it and willing to definitely just move on. See what else the day has to offer. We're having a hell of a time getting out of this range, though. I will say that. This is the type of shit that will get traders caught up. They'll be like, is it long? Is it short? Really, it's just going sideways. Yeah, smart, Leo. Sit on your hands. Gun to my head, though. This goes higher. Yeah, exactly. Chopping up the impatient. Exactly, Brett. $9.50 macro coming in. Did like my short though? Yeah. It was good. Definitely willing to put on the risk. I was willing to risk the $200 that I put, not so much the 270 that it lost me. Because I got slipped to high heaven. But is what it is. That's me asking. I was asking for that trading around the open. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I got slipped. Yeah, because my stop was at 67.5 and I got stopped at 74.75. How gross is that? Some gentleman's market, hey? Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Everything was good. Kept risk. I mean, I did everything that I could. I can't control getting slipped, so sometimes it just happens. A good thing though is my risk, or like my full risk on a trade, is 250. And I was only risking 200 on that. So I really only ended up losing $20 more than a full R. So really not mad about it. Might actually be a good idea if you're trading in and around the open, maybe just to be 1 micro less, just to cover slippage. Or 1 contract less. So the play here would be, you have this 15-minute for value gap SMT. You also have this consecutive candle SMT. The result of that is you then formed this breaker here. you could use either or. You could say this high. Oops, not that, the line. You could say this high or this high. Confirms the breaker. I would say this high because just counting your swings, right? You have this is your lowest low. That's the high that occurred after, and then you have this. The Dory model. What's the Dory model? Opinions on long? Yeah, I think you're good. I think you're good on longs. Oh, yeah, who do you think you got it from? I like Dory. Dory's a fucking awesome trader. He knows his shit. So yeah, anyway, as I was saying, you have these swing points here. That'd be your breaker. And then retrace back into it. This for value gap, this IFEG, 930 opening price, discounted the range. But what do I think it's going to trade into is the question. Like this devil's mark on the 15-minute. Let me get those projections back up here. -2, -2.5 lines up really nicely with the high of day. This is just ugly though. We're kind of stuck. And now we have some consecutive candle SMT on the highs. We got SMT on the lows. We got a very indecisive market here. I don't want to play in that. No, thank you. Could just sink it again. Like this is, yeah. I don't have many words on this, guys. Watch and see. It's one of those things, right, where you have this breaker retracement here and you have an expansion higher, but the result of that was just like a shallow sweep, and now we're turning around. Tells me, I mean, this just looks like seek and destroy on like a smaller fractal, right? You have your broadening formation. Fluminidori model is it's one of his models. He trades continuations utilizing consecutive candle SMTs, right? So this case, you have two SMTs, right? You have a retracement into your higher time frame key level, being this 15-minute fair value gap. You have the SMT created there. This candle here is not designed to go higher, right? It's a candle that's opening high and closing low. So you're down here, and then you want to wait for this next candle to sweep that previous 15-minute candle's low, opening low, creating more SMT, and then you have that opening price lining up with that 930 open there. It's also lining up with the breaker. So you can see the correlation between a turtle soup and a breaker, right? The breaker sets up the OB and the turtle soup, and then the turtle soup starts the reversal and the change in state of delivery, because then you get your order block formation, your IFEG, and your breaker. And Dory takes the breaker. Yeah, I saw that, Brett. I saw that. I saw your message in BG. So I went. That's why I went to go look at the RTH. I actually want to mark that out. Monday. I don't look at RTH much. Yeah. Yeah, definitely would need some sort of higher time frame direction. Considering that's a daily high, you want a little bit of a higher time frame. You have the breakers setting up. But I mean, we had that beforehand too. 9 a.m. closed exactly where it opened. Yeah, within like a couple handles, hey. It's an indecisive candle. So whenever I see that, that just immediately becomes the range that I'm trading. Oops, not that. It's a gross hourly candle. 10 a.m. or rather 6 a.m. Close bullish. It's a candle, right? Designed to go higher. So like if you're short from here, you want to be cautious, right? Because this candle opened low, close high. The hourly closed indecisive. We do technically have a swing in that it failed to close above the previous hourly candle's high, but it's still indecisive. And using the 4-hour as your kind of higher time frame, you're more, I guess, it's more important than an hourly. We could see a sweep. We could see a sweep of this high, and then it can create some SMT and then drop from there. Or we could just blast through it. Basically what I'm saying is it's still a good time to sit on your hands. Sit down, relax, sip your coffee. If you're flat so far today, keep it that way for a bit. If you took a loss, like me, then just sit with it. One loss in the grand scheme of things is pure randomness. If you followed your model. If you didn't follow your model and you took a loss, then it's pure ignorance. But do you guys have any questions while we watch and wait? I don't want to just sit here and yap the entire time. Let's add a little bit of structure. Accepting any questions. What do you guys struggle with the most recently? How can I help? Just one moment. I have to respond to a text. Okay. What are you struggling with specifically about risk management, Edward? Am I sitting on hands until that higher low gets taken? Yeah, until I get a little bit of like one-sided, direction. Only 2 likes, and I know I'm one of them. Yeah, what the heck, guys? 100 viewers in here, 21 likes. I don't understand like I don't understand what the algorithm does for likes, but not that yeah, I don't know. Like my stuff now. I don't know. Seems strange to me. Subscriptions I can see is important, but likes, I don't know. I guess yeah, there's got to be something to do with it. Uh, when do you usually move your stop to break even? Great question. One that I've been getting a ton of questions about this lately, right? So when I go break even, there's a couple things. Most standard is going to be when price reaches -2 standard deviations of my breaker, okay? So let's say that I'm short off of this imaginary breaker here. I will go break even once price reaches -2 of my breaker that I entered on. Lately, I've been just full closing at -2 because I'm on kind of a full pull straight to -2. Like it's a very little moving parts model, and it's been working quite well for me lately. And I don't need a ton of R with my win rate, so -2 standard deviations is where I will go break even. If not, if I don't full exit. The reason for this is because you want to go break even for very specific reasons, right? You don't want to go break even on your trade to, secure any unrealized gains that you may have made, right? You want to go break even based on actual structure, when price can likely turn around, right? -2, -2.5, as we all should know by now, it's a very popularized concept. When price reaches -2 and -2.5 standard deviations of a manipulation, that is considered a retracement/reversal zone. So you have reason to go break even at this point because price can very likely form a trade against you. Okay? So it ensures that you're on side. That's number one. Number two is if my model forms against me, right? So let's say the same thing, right? If I was short off of a breaker, utilizing, liquidity, SMT, and a breaker. If I see my model forming against me, right? Say we go take liquidity, form SMT, and a breaker. If the trade I'm currently in holds more weight than the current potential trade that's forming against me, I will just go break even and let it ride. Right? It's just basically like getting insurance, because there's reason to believe that the chart that price could go against me. It's giving me signs. That's when you want to protect risk. You don't want to protect risk and go break even based off of emotion. You should always, always, always have it based off of mechanical and more analytical side of things. You don't want to say, oh, I want to go break even just because price shouldn't go here, right? 90% of people that go break even because they say price shouldn't go here are coping, because they don't know. The only place price shouldn't go most of the time is your stop loss when you're short. Price can do whatever it wants, but it can't take your invalidation level. Like, yeah. So don't go break even just because you are scared to lose money that you made, or just because you're winning now, and just because you're winning, that means you shouldn't see drawdown, right? Sometimes you're going to sit in a trade and it's going to whip you back and forth. Drawdown profit, drawdown profit. It's not going to take your stop, and it will eventually take your TP. But if you micromanage your trades, you're going to get taken out BE, and then you're going to be kicking yourself. Imad struggles to find a bias when a key liquidity is taken, for example, the previous weekly high. Well, there's a lot that goes into bias, right? Bias is actually, I don't like the word bias. Build narrative, okay? Bias is an emotion. Bias leads to one-sided trading, to anchored bias, like marrying your trade, right? You use the draw by building a narrative, right? So as it stands right now, just by looking at this chart, what I did this morning is I broke up the chart and built my narrative, right? So you have to first ask yourself, okay, on the high time frame, where is price coming from recently, and where is it likely to go next? Yeah. So if you take here, for example, from last Thursday, price had taken this previous weekly high. We're up in premium, order pairing at buy side liquidity. Where is price likely to go next? Well, what does price do when we're trending? External to internal, external to internal, external to internal, external, internal. What did we just do here? We took external. Where are we likely to go next? Internal. Internal where? To discount. Price is back at internal. Where have we recently come from? Came from buy side liquidity, this previous weekly high. Where are we likely to go next? Well, what's the chart been doing lately? Going higher. So, where are we likely to go next? The highs. Break it down a little further. Oops, sorry. What do we have now? We swept previous weekly high. We retraced. So now we have SMT at this high and we have SMT at this low. Building a narrative for me becomes tough because I have conflicting information. I have reason to believe we can go short. I have reason to believe we can go long. So I don't want to be taking too many stabs on one side, right? I want to watch and see what happens, right? It gave me a valid short at 9:30 that I took. But now it's showing me signs that it's just going to continue to print sideways. This is what happens when you have trapped order flow. So when you have trapped order flow, you're going to feel like you don't know where price is going. And let me tell you that it is completely and utterly normal and okay to not know where price is going all the time. Take it from someone who struggled so hard with not being okay with not knowing where price is going. It would put me into like an anxious state. It'd be like 9:20 Eastern, and I'd be like, fuck, I still don't know where price is going. And like most of the time, if you just show up to the chart and like you spend 15 minutes and you're just like, shit, I don't know where price is going, it's probably not you. It's probably just the chart. It's probably just the chart. But your ego does not like to not know and to not do anything, right? It's kind of your human brain, what we've evolved to do, right? We think more leads to more, right? Doing more leads to excess, right? But quantity does not equal to quality here, right? So you actually have to do a little bit less if you want to seek more. It's almost like a paradoxical thing. The less you do, the more you're rewarded. So a big lesson that I have had to learn and that others should learn as well is that if the chart isn't speaking to you and it isn't stupid obvious, then just sit on your hands and wait till something is obvious. No one's asking you to trade. No one's forcing you to take a trade, right? The market should almost be like forcing you to trade. That's how obvious these setups should be, right? You have so obvious that like you have no reason not to take the trade other than you're just scared. Right? So right now, Imad, I don't blame you for not understanding exactly where price is going because it's not quite obvious right now. We have two sides playing out. We have a trapped order flow scenario going on here where we have a reason to believe that we could go short and we could, this could be a retracement to internal for external. We also could make a case to go long from here because we have this SMT at previous daily low and we've formed 15-minute breakers on this side and we could just go higher. So long-winded way of saying that you don't always need to know where price is going, but you should know what to do if you don't know where price is going, and that is usually just do nothing. If you deem a move too risky to enter based on the stop size being too large but the PD arrays are being respected, do you consider entering on smaller size and larger stops? I would just okay, wait. If you deem a move too risky to enter based on the stop size being too large but the PD arrays are being respected, well, that's the thing, right? It shouldn't be too risky to enter. If I can afford the stop loss, like if I'm risking 200 bucks a trade, I can enter on a breaker that is smaller than 100 points. Anything above 100 points and I'm risking too much. Right? So it's not really about like making the stop bigger or smaller to fit. You just, can I take this trade, yes or no? right? If you deem it risky, then just don't take it. If you truly think in your analysis that, oh, this trade's too risky, just don't touch it. 9 a.m. high taken on ES. Good shout. Yeah, so anything under that, you could take the trade, right? As long as it fits your protocol. Going on tilt. Okay, so Edward goes on tilt. That's not a risk management issue. That's a respect to risk management issue. So I think you know exactly what you need to do with risk management. You just really have to respect it. And that's something, unfortunately, that I cannot teach you, but that's something that I could tell you till the cows come home, hey, you have to respect your risk. Otherwise, you're just going to get your shit pushed in, right? So you got to respect your risk, and you got to understand that losses are quite literally part of the game, right? If you take a loss and it followed your model, good job. You did your job. Your job is not to decide whether you win or lose. Your job is to push the button when when your model presents, right? So we got that 4-hour high SMT. Ugh. This would be like one of those scenarios where I'd want to see this breaker confirm, but I wouldn't put my stop at this high. It would have to go at this high. Yeah, you're welcome, Edward. I mean, it's not what you wanted to hear probably, but it's what you need to hear. So start to ask yourself the questions. Okay, what am I predisposed to do? Like what puts me on tilt, right? I'm probably going to say you take a loss and then you over risk or you over trade. So you need to have those rules in place and you need to follow them. Seiko's win rate increased by 15% after subbing. That a boy. Yeah, you're welcome, you mad. You're welcome. I mean, bias is tough. Building narrative and generating a drawn liquidity is tough. There's a lot that goes into it, right? I could speak about so many different topics. I could talk about using standard deviation for developing bias. I could talk about liquidity pairing to develop bias. I could talk about, just the mechanics of price, whether we go from internal to external when we're trending, or whether we're chopping and we're just using the range highs and range lows, right? So many different things and so many different factors go into developing a bias, right? Um, Open high low close, open low high close. Like there's so many different things. So I think if you want to get better at bias, just build experience. More time on the chart and you'll understand where price is likely to go more often. Gold has potential for a very clean setup. I don't trade gold. I want to, but it's hard to watch two assets in one session for me. Ugh. Tough. This is like this internal breaker here. We have the SMT at this high. It's not screaming at me. Yeah. Seeing as ES failed to form that breaker that was responsible for taking that high and forming the SMT, and now it's going to take the high again. That's, yeah, it's worrisome for me. It makes it hard. Like when NQ is the one that doesn't sweep liquidity, it makes it extremely hard to get involved. So I'll kind of look to see what the asset that took liquidity wants to do. Right now, ES just wants to continue to rip. So do you trade until PM when we have high impact news tomorrow? I probably won't be trading PM today because I got shit to do. But if I didn't have stuff to do, then I'd probably look to trade it. But after this stream's done, I gotta go for a run. I have to go to the gym. I have to do a bunch of stuff. How can I stop over trading? Um, you're not gonna like this, but just stop. Just stop. Start by doing this. When you take a loss or you take a win, walk away from the chart for 15 minutes. Just walk away from the chart for 15 minutes. What you're doing is you're putting a tripwire in place to stop you from over trading. Like it really is, there's no secret sauce to stopping, to, quitting over trading, quitting over risking, quitting breaking your rules. It really is just like you need to see the good that comes from following your rules, but you're just not sticking to it long enough to see the results. You'll stick to your model, you'll stick to your rules, and you won't over risk. You won't over trade for like a week. You'll see decent results, but oh, they're not good enough. So then you just go out and you blow it and you break your rules because you got impatient. And then you're back at square one. Oh, I need to follow my rules again. And then you do it for maybe 2 weeks, and then you get so close to payout, and you're like, I'm so close. It's Friday. I'm like one more trade away from getting a payout. I want to get a payout now. Let me just break my rules. Right? You can see the toxic cycle you put yourself in. So like you just have to see what good comes from following your rules, not over trading, having good habits and exercising those good habits. You just don't trust it yet. So you're in a period where you have to just blindly do it, blindly follow your rules and see what happens. Is that what ICT calls a six sister when one asset sweeps a liquidity point and the other doesn't? That's just SMT. Six sister is something different. It's not something that I really use though. Like if you just have the proper draw and liquidity, six sister is pretty easy to see. How much to risk on eval and how much on funded? They should be the same. If you have a 50K Top Step account, whether it's funded or eval, you can have $2,000 of drawdown available. You should be risking between 5 and 10% of your allowable drawdown or available drawdown. So let's say you go on a little bit of a heater and then you get above buffer and you have 4,000 drawdown now. You're risking 400 to trade. Say you lose some trades and you're back down at 3K. That's your allowable drawdown. You risk 300 per trade. Right? It's a dynamic, it's a static way to have dynamic risk management. Static in that the percentage remains the same based on your drawdown available, but it's dynamic in that the more balance you get, the more you can risk. Sorry, members only. I didn't see your thing here. Forcing trades, not giving myself enough time after taking the loss to re-enter. I guess maybe unwilling to be wrong. Yeah, that's a tough one. You really just have to, accept that it's the market's choice whether you're right or wrong, not you. Like that's something that you have to just submit to the market and let it show you. Right? If you're wrong, you should look into why you were wrong. You should sit with it for a bit, right? Go through that natural process, right? I've talked about this a few times on my streams, right? There's that performance process cycle. Right? Here's phase one. It's kind of like the being phase, right? Where you are just kind of sitting and marinating and waiting for a trigger, right? Number two is the trigger phase, right? Where your model starts to set up. You start to see inklings of information that say, you know what, maybe there is a setup forming here, right? That's, maybe you see previous daily high swept and you have SMT. That's kind of like, it's kind of like the get on the edge of your seat type of nudge, right? After that is the performance phase. Number three, this is where you are actively in a trade. You push the button, you're actively in the trade, and you're managing it based on your rules and criteria, right? Once that's done, like this is from getting into the trade to getting out of the trade, whether it's a win, a loss, or a break even. Once you are out of that trade and you are flat, you go into what's called the reset phase. Now, this is where everyone fucks it up. This is where I fuck it up. This is where you fuck it up. This is where ICT fucks it up. This is where everyone quite literally messes it up. They short circuit this cycle right here. They don't allow themselves the proper amount of time to reset, get back to baseline, and slowly introduce themselves back into the being phase. Instead, they'll go right back up into number three and get into another trade. And then they get a result. Then they spiral, right? They short circuit this. They don't allow themselves to reset. So that's why you should have some tripwires in place of like when you lose a trade, don't get right back into one, right? Don't get right back into one. Most of the time, you don't get a trade immediately after you take a loss. Unless you're like deeply wrong or unless like price forms your model against you. But even then, if you really are not ready to get back into a trade and you feel like, oh, this feels like I'm forcing it, take that as information that you're not ready to get back into one yet. and you move stop to BE quick and re-enter instead of trusting, yeah, then you're also just asking for a spiral too, because you go break even and you'll think, oh, I got taken out BE, it's gonna run the other way, and then you get long and then you go BE, and you're just in a cycle, and you just yeah, then you just lose all function, right? So trust your model a little more. Go break even based on technicals, not on emotion. Later, Brett. Eden, I've been doing good. Been doing good lately. I had a shitty bout there in May. Back now, and I'm feeling much better. Thanks for asking. I'm at the point where I'll try push-ups or walking outside and my stops get hit. I don't want to be near the screen and try to revenge impulsively click. Yeah. Yep, that's good. That's a good thing. It's a very good practice to have. I'll tell you what, though. There ain't a whole lot here for me. There ain't a whole lot here. I'm gonna go use the washroom real quick, and then we'll come back and see what we see. Yeah, good idea, Renee. There's not a lot going on. Not a lot going on at all. What do we think? I think we cut class early here. Let's get up to 50 likes, and then I'll cut you guys loose. Yeah? 9 likes. Don't be shy. When back testing, I always get stopped until finally it moves into my direction a little later. You know any way to fix that? Uh, no, I don't know a way to fix that because it's hard to say. Um, you need to look into why you're losing. Look into why your stops are getting stopped out, right? From what it seems, is you're getting stopped and then it moves in your direction. You probably have the wrong stop, or you're entering too early, or way too late, and it's causing you to move your stops. So only you can look into that, Eddie. No idea why, even though it's in discount. So it sounds okay. Well, then you're backtesting without a model. Because if you have no idea why, right? I think that so now you're in the phase of like developing something. So take that as information. Why is price stopping you out? Where are you putting your stops, right? Yeah, but okay, you might be trading with a model that you think is a model, but maybe it's incomplete. So your job is to complete it, right? And it's your backtesting results are giving you information. You just have to dig into it. What's the missing element? I don't know what your missing element is, but it's there for you on the chart. Most of the time it's you have improper stops or you're entering early. Yeah, sorry I can't help you with it. It's really hard for me to, without seeing every single one of your trades and like knowing your model in and out. I can't I can't decipher why you're getting stopped out too soon. But usually it's too early or your stop is not valid. All right, well, we can't get to 50, so I'm just going to cut it here. Thank you guys for today. One loss on the day today, nothing crazy. All in all, avoided a lot of potential hurt. So, yeah. Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate you all. I'll be streaming. I don't even know when next time will be. This is the only time I'm streaming this week, from what I understand. But yeah, you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, I'll speak to y'all soon. Bye bye.